flight boss, bitch. You know, for sure. You're not listening to the Mind of an Terrence Moon. I'm the Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God duties and motherfucking responsibilities. And we're going to get into keeping your guard up. Now, what is your guard? Your guard is your phoenix. What is your phoenix? Your phoenix is your light. What is your light? Light is information. So it's basically how you want to see yourself, or the information that you put in, how to be seen. So for the most part, anytime there's a large amount of light put in one area, light condenses in the water. So that information can turn into something to be influenced by, or to be an influence. So just let you know, water and fire, where things is getting derived from. But for the most part, I'm trying to give you a concept of understanding what is your guard. Now, your guard is there as a shield. Now, in the realm of reality that we live in right now, it's so often that our guards be down. It's so often that we got weak shields. It's so often that we got unhealthy egos. It's so often that our phoenix be on the ground and be looking real dusty and ashy at the moment. So for the most part, here's the thing. When things are like warlike energies towards you, it can reach your soft spot if you don't have a good defense system. And it can reach your soft spot. And once something reaches your soft spot, that is your lightest cloth. That is like your merkaba. That is like your garment. So that is like your sheet here. That is like your shapeless, formless, odorless, non-flammable gas here. So for the it's like your moon. It is your moon. So anytime an object or an other spirit can redirect your soft spot, then they can redirect your individuality. And therefore, they can move you into a space that you could be uncomfortable with. And you can start acting like you're not yourself. You ever been around someone who said, I'm not myself? Yeah. Once you start not acting like yourself, there's reasons behind that. Now, here's the thing, right? Keeping your guard up. A lot of times when it's an individual who can't be themselves, when they behind closed doors, these are the people who are crying the most, because they're searching for moments and circumstances and spaces to be in when they can be themselves. But they probably have manifested so many circumstances and situations in their lives that redirect their own spiritual direction, and they can't fully be themselves to the full potential. So here's the thing. They have a weak shield. They have a weak ego. They have a weak phoenix. Their phoenix is never up. It's always on the ground. Now, when we start to talk about this concept of ego, this is beyond the egotistical, narcissistic energy that everybody is putting it in. This is letting you know the true energy of your goddamn guard, your shield, your ability to create a phoenix. And you create your phoenix off your solar plexus. So based upon your sun sign, which is your solar plexus, this is how you correlate your phoenix. Everybody image about themselves be different. Some people be dragons. Some people be snakes. Some people be maggots. Some people be roaches. Some people be rats. Some people be whales. Some people, you know what I'm saying? Some people be hermits. Some people be tricksters. Some people be manipulators. It's all kind of imageries, but spirits do not know what they do. So a lot of times it takes a spirit that have expanded and contracted, aka went through a lot of experiences, to be able to look at another spirit and be like, you do not know what you're doing, and this is what you're doing. For another spirit to wake up and be like, okay, this is what I'm doing through my shapes and forms, and I need to wake up out of these and give death to these suns. You see what I'm saying? These lights, these phoenixes that they develop from bad intent or negative states of beings. So these states of awareness, these states of awarenesses, these lights that they have created for themselves, was bad lights, dark lights. You know what I'm saying? So when we talking about putting a guard up, the reason why it's so often in this realm of reality our shields is down, because we be going through spiritual warfare, aka fighting for our own individual space. And a lot of times going through war has nothing to do with enemies or individuals that's doing things that's out of your favor or doing things that's against you. A lot of times it be people you share spaces with, people you are close to, people you look at as family, friends, and things of that nature. And just to be relative and share spaces with them for everything to be okay, a lot of times you exclude a lot of your own individuality. And you think it's the right thing to do based upon the realm of reality that we are in. And the realm of reality we are in consists of certain things we have to do. We have to do certain things to get certain qualities, to get certain certifications, to get certain credentials, to get certain jobs, to make sure our lives work. And these systems were set up from other spirits, the Galactic Federation of Light and shit. But I'm just helping you get an understanding that for an example, right? You be yourself at home, right? But say you getting ready to to take a job interview, right? You're not gonna act your true self like you are at home. You finna act job ready or something like that, right? So you took your own spirit out of your own individual space into another space and let your guard down, aka that's your shield, your phoenix down, in order to be relatable within that circumstance or situation that you're trying to assess yourself in. You see what I'm saying? So you think that was the right thing to do. And in this realm of reality, is so low vibrational, it's so structured and things that work down here, I think it's the right thing to do. You could be blinded in all these lights into actually putting yourself in that state of being forever, thinking that that's always the right thing to do. So here's the thing, right? And then we be around people that close ones and stuff like that, and for we don't get on their nerves and for they don't get on our nerves. We all do this, right? Now, I'm not saying just be a whole true individual, even if you are a negative person around others. Everything is a percentage level. But I'm just trying to break down the concept of what we're actually talking about when we talk about your guard. Now, here's the thing, right? The image of how you see yourself and how you want others to see you. A lot of times, that's more important than anything in this realm of reality, than anybody you like, than any job you're trying to get into, than any circumstance you're trying to participate in. So the whole key right here is participating into energies of the percentage level that cater more to your influence. Know how to tone it down, know how to put it up, but never cut it all the way off. Because the moment you cut it all the way off, you have no defense system. Therefore, you allow other people to look at you in a way that's not truly you. And anytime you're around these individuals or you're around these people, places and things, you're going to feel that uncomfortability. And that uncomfortability is an energy on its own, and it's going to build. And it's going to build so much that energy got builded from a resistant element. It got builded from a resistant energy, aka an energy that's not you. So it can only play out as frustration in your life. So the more you're around these people, places, and things that you can't fully be an individual around, or at least to the potential level that you like it at, it's going to build that frustration energy. It's going to build that energy of that resistance. And the more that energy built, there's going to be a day that it explodes. It's going to be a day that it play out as moods. It's going to be a day that it play out as frustration. It's going to be a day that it play out as you clashing out on others. And the time that it may happen may be at the wrong time. It may be at a time that you wish it didn't happen. It may burn bridges with you and others. It may create circumstances that you wish didn't happen. And then now you have to overthink about these things because you have got so comfortable in that space of being relatable or having your shields down to the point that it feels uncomfortable of you releasing your true self. So now you're living a life of constantly being out of whack, constantly being unbalanced, constantly being spiritually unaligned. So here's the thing. The whole point of this is you may have a chart and a lot of alignments that make you a very passive person. So it may be very hard just to even give a little bit of percentage level of your own individuality around other people who may have strong spirits. Because strong spirits create strong egos, strong phoenixes. But a lot of times strong spirits get lost in their phoenix. And a lot of times their phoenix become their own dark world. So they get lost in their own dark world and only care about other spirits that follow them to that world or share similar experiences. But you need to know this, right? That's why I broke down percentage level also. You could be taken advantage by one of these spirits. And these are spirits that turn their phoenix into the term of ego. So the phoenix is no longer flying around and soaring around and being light. It turned into an ego, aka this phoenix only wants to be in one space. So it sits in one area in the sky like an ego. And it just looks around and it thinks everything else is revolving around it instead of it floating around and traveling everywhere with imagination. It only imagine itself. So, you know, if you are a passive spirit or you are a spirit that picked the solar system, you picked a whole bunch of sons of gods and shit that made you passive. So, for an example, you may have a lot of mutable planets, or you may have a lot of trine alignments in your chart, a lot of trines and sextiles. People say trines and sextiles gives gifts and opportunities, but a lot of trines and sextiles also makes a person passive and too agreeable or too get along with. And a square and an opposition sometimes make these people not have pass up opportunities, and sometimes may not be aware of their gifts. But being opposite or being square makes a person learn circumstances and make a person be opposing to anything that's outside of their true nature at times. So if you're a person who may have a lot of sextiles, a lot of tries, and your spirit is in there, a lot of times you may manifest circumstances where you may do things where you might say it's doing it for the greater good, but you're basically just doing something for something to be agreeable outside of you. You're basically just doing something for something to be more relatable for an external representation, for another person, place, or thing. And in order for that to be relatable, you think you had to do what you had to do in order for it to be that way. You think you had to be the diplomat. You think you had to take the short end of the stick. And a lot of times, 50% of the stick for these people, a lot of times, be still the short end of the stick. But then make up something psychologically in their head to make them think that it was actually half of the stick. And to make them think that they could take more than the actual person that they actually given the benefit of the doubt to. You have to be careful with doing that to these kind of, doing that. But yeah, so always keep that in mind. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I ain't got here and shit. No, why I'm pulling up here? I ain't pulling here. You gotta meet me somewhere else, man. Not shells. Not shells. But yeah, that's key. So for the most part, keeping your guard up, right? Keeping your guard up is a circumstance like this, right? Always let a motherfucker know your individuality. So when you are harnessing your individuality, when you are harnessing your phoenix, when you are putting it down a little bit, a motherfucker know that's what you're doing. A motherfucker just don't look at you like how they seen you or how they remember you. And if they remember you always being in a space that's not true to your individuality, or the percentage level of your liking, then these people is always going to see you in a way you don't want them to see you in. And a lot of times spirits get greedy. A spirit will act in certain ways just to get what they want out of a circumstance and a situation at the moment. And you females do this a lot of times. And you gullible males, you will act a certain way in your solar system to get what you want out of the scenario. And if you see it working, you would do that a lot of times. But then after a while, your spirit will get tired of that, because your spirit will be like, man, why can't I just do this by being myself? So you'll start showing your true colors. And once you start showing your true colors, you will start seeing you not getting how you was getting it before. Whether you was taking advantage of a person or that, you will start seeing that slow down a little bit, for the most part. So you have to keep that in mind also. And then once a person starts seeing you in that one way for so long, they ain't seeing you in that way no more. But you realize that wasn't really you in the first place. You was just acting that way because you was taking advantage of a person, and spiritually you didn't know it, but spiritually you got tired of acting in that way. And now a person is seeing you in a way how they think you are not, but now you're just showing your true colors, really. So you have to make sure you ain't that kind of spirit. You see what I'm saying? Because you led it to that circumstance and situation. That's why it's important to always let a person know your true individuality. Therefore, there's no questions asked. Therefore, there's no questions asked. So if you start acting in a way that's disagreeing with what another person wants you to agree with, if you always was that way, but say you harness down a little bit of your power. Say you ain't. You letting the person know that you're trying to be relatable. You letting the person know that you're trying to be agreeable. You're letting the person know that you're trying to relate. And therefore, they won't go far and be coming up with ideas and circumstances. I was looking because the boys was behind me and shit. That's why I was going off a little bit. That kind of threw me off a little bit. But yeah, see, when you act in ways of trying to take advantage of people, and you acting that way for a long time, you show your true colors, a person will look at you like, that ain't you, but that really is you. Then on the flip side, like I said, this is why it's important to always show your own individuality. Because when you do start acting in ways that's not really you, a person ain't got no ifs, ands, or buts. You know what I'm saying? They'd be like, okay, this person is acting this way right now for this reason. So, yeah, flight boss, bitch, goddamn man, let me keep my eyes on the road.